Hey there, Mr. Reddit here. Welcome back to another episode of r/Entitled Parent Stories. Our first story we'll be reading today. Entitled Father Demands I Tutor His Kid Without Being Paid Despite Living in a Mansion. After that, Roommate Can't Cut the Umbilical Cord, Invites Parents to Stay in Shared Living. After that, The Worst Karen of All. After that, Return My Kittens, says the lady who left them to fend for themselves. Now Karen told me that if we can get 1,000 likes on this video, she'll go one full day without trying to take things that don't belong to her. So please smash that like button. And if you're new, subscribe and turn on notifications for new stories from Reddit every single day. And if you'd like a custom message from Karen, visit Mr. Reddit on Fiverr, link below. Entitled Father Demands I Tutor His Kid Without Being Paid Despite Living in a Mansion. So, I feel like I need to be pretty clear about my accomplishments and everything. I have a nearly perfect GPA. I have taken over 70 college credits, and one of my majors is education. This being said, I figured I could make some side cash as a tutor while at college. I'm planning to teach middle school and high school, so I created an account on a tutoring website and got involved with a couple of local schools. I got my first call about a week ago from a nice mom who was asking me to tutor her 15-year-old son in history and English. I asked her for any details about her son. She explained that he's brilliant at science and math, but has no motivation for English or history. She hinted at a learning disorder in reading, such as dyslexia, but I didn't pry too much since she seemed protective of her son. Nice mom and I scheduled an appointment for me to have essentially a quick homework session where I could get to know her son and how he learns. I would not be doing a full tutoring session. She explained to me that while she wouldn't be home because she had to take her other kid to the doctor, her husband would be home and that he shouldn't bother us. At this point, I let her know that I only charge a $10 consultation charge for the first meeting, which I request directly after the session, but I do charge $15 an hour after that, which can be billed. She agreed and forwarded me the address. When I arrived the next day, sure enough, the entitled father was home. I hadn't recognized the address at first because I am way too poor to live in this area. This house was at least 3 houses, and there was a Porsche in the driveway with the bumper sticker of a very expensive private school. When I knocked on the door, the greeting I got was a little rude, but I didn't think much of it. Entitled father: Who are you? Me: I'm the tutor for your son. And? Who sent you? Nice mom: She didn't tell me that. Are you sure? My name is Tenlin1. Oh, right. Yeah, come on in. Son is upstairs. I headed upstairs and met with the son. I almost immediately peeped out that he had a special interest in chemistry and physics, which made history and English difficult for him to focus on. I did, however, realize that putting chemistry and physics into those 2 subjects. This question is asking for an example on how this war affected Americans at home. Do you think that there were any science jobs created by any chance? We were able to get his history homework done, but like I had explained to nice mom, this would not be a full session. I collected my things, now having enough to go off to form a plan. I headed downstairs to collect my payment from entitled father, who was sat on the couch watching TV. Me: Hi, I'm sorry. Nice mom and I agreed on a payment of $10. Entitled father: She didn't give it to you already? No, I only collected after the tutoring session. And you're done already? It's been 45 minutes. I'm not giving you $10 for 45 minutes. Well, It's very unprofessional of you to assume I would pay for that. I charged $10 for the first meeting, since I'm mostly trying to get to know your kid. And we don't actually complete much homework at— Excuse me? You want me to pay you? And you didn't even do anything? I have to form up. I have a special needs kid. And you think I can afford to be paying for just anyone to come in here and do nothing? At this point, I sort of looked around the house, almost completely by accident. I was just sort of shocked that he could be living like this and be claiming to be broke. Me: Sorta, yeah. How much is your going rate, huh? $15 an hour. That's absurd. I should mention at this point that the going rate for tutors in my area is around $20 an hour, so I'm really a steal. Me: I don't feel like it is, but that's not the problem right now. It's only $10 for today. You should be tutoring my kid for free. He's so bright. He just has a few issues. I won't tutor him for free. Why not? Why not? I'm a tutor.
So?
We get paid. We aren't volunteers.
My point is that exactly. You should be volunteering. You can see he has so much ahead of him, but he's just struggling with writing.
I see that. I still need to get paid.
Leave. You're not getting anything.
I completed a service. I need my fee. Nice Mom already agreed to this. Entitled Father started to wave his hands wildly around the room and began to yell a bit. He started yelling about how having item A doesn't make him wealthy enough to afford an entitled tutor like me.
Having this doesn't mean that I'm rich. I still have bills to pay.
I understand that. I hope you can understand that I'm asking you to pay this one. I have a tendency to get very sassy very quickly, so understandably, Entitled Father was mad at this point. He started yelling at me about being unprofessional. I started to dial Nice Mom when he noticed.
What the heck are you doing? You dang kids can't stay off your phones for longer than…
I'm calling Nice Mom. His face went pale, and he said,
Don't do that.
Me. Why? Entitled Father.
Just don't. Take the dang money and leave.
At this point, Entitled Father finally handed me the $10, and I happily got into my car and left. I couldn't believe, really, that I had acted that way over $10. But then again, I had an agreement. Nice Mom called me the moment she got back from the appointment to apologize for her husband. She offered to pay me $18 an hour instead, but I said no. I don't think any amount of money is worth going through that every time. Next we've got Roommate Can't Cut the Umbilical Cord, Invites Parents to Stay in Shared Living. Cast. We've got Entitled Mom, my roommate's mom. We've got Hugh, roommate who won't cut the umbilical cord. He's 30. We've got Sam, Hugh's girlfriend. And we've got me. Also, I'm only 25. Alright, let's get started. I'm not even worried about roommates finding this. Yes, Hugh's parents travel a lot and go to conventions and whatnot. They were coming to town and he was making a stink about how they would stay with us. This started as a firm no way. He tried to barter though.
They will only be around in the late evening. You won't notice them. They will go out before you get home from work.
Tried to stick firm on. Dude, these are your parents. I don't like my in-laws on the best of days. I don't want to be living around your parents. His mother disapproves of like 75% of my lifestyle, so I tried to keep firm. Well, as stuff happens, and stuff happens, I had a family emergency for some overlap time they would be in town and had to fly home. Since I was gone, this left Hugh free and clear to invite without me getting involved. He's entitled himself, but that's a different story. I'll summarize it as, why can't you stop doing X, Y, and Z for my parents? It's just a few days. For our housing, I have a tiny room downstairs, and I have full decoration control of living room. Roommates stiffed me on the deal, and have 2 large private bedrooms upstairs with a bathroom, and paid the same rent as me. Shaking my head. Family emergency is the exact opposite of fun vacation time, and it was a hard time for me as my grandfather passed away. Afterwards, I really just wanted to go home and rest and, mourn. Decided to text Hugh to notify that I'm gonna be home this time on this day. He replied back saying his wonderful parents were going to be there and to just act like they aren't around. How nice that unwanted guests are in my home just chilling. No agreement. Wonderful. I respond saying that I'm having a very hard time, reminding him about how he said I would only potentially see his parents in the evening, and when I get home at X time, I was going to need space as I'm emotional and exhausted. The flight home was where I hit my major emotional break, the whole trip settling into me. My arrival was 1:30 p.m., well within the afternoon window. Before boarding, I sent Hugh another text. Just boarding now, no delays. I will be home in X hours. Hugh responds before I get on.
Okay, thanks for letting me know.
Text off the plane. I'm on my way home, just want to relax. No response from Hugh. This was a good sign to me, hoping he was out and busy with the parents. I arrive at the door and see that all the windows downstairs are wide open, my curtains pulled back. New decor on the windowsills? I'm just walking up to the house, and I'm not having it. Oh well, sweet relaxation soon enough. Curtains/windows bothered me because our sketchy neighbors scope our house often, and I have a lot of expensive stuff I don't want them to know about. Bad housing situation stuff. Once I open the door, I am greeted by both of Hugh's parents and Hugh, and they're all sitting at the kitchen table anticipating me. Flabbergasted was I, just stared at everyone for a moment. Our living room is also our kitchen, small space. Entitled Mom.
How was your trip?
Me, trying not to just full meltdown. It was not a fun trip. I have to walk completely around and behind them to put my bags in my room. I shut the door and just cried for like 10 minutes and felt like I was hiding in my own house. The kitchen table is literally 2 feet from my door. Tried to pull composure and just get some water. Entitled Mom.
It's been so long since we went back to X. Is there still a Y and Z there?
Me, pouring my water. Uh-huh. I dart back to my room before I could be asked more questions as I saw her getting ready for more. I can hear them talking about how I didn't put on my hosting attitude. Irked me a lot. At this point, I was a full-blown wreck and just wanted them to leave. The conversation went on outside my bedroom door for about 20 minutes before Hugh's mom starts cooking. All I wanted was to eat, drink some water, and nap off the stress. Now Hugh's mom is going to take the afternoon to cook dinner, I guess. Now I messaged Sam, which in hindsight was a bad idea. She flipped, apologizing to me like 100 times. Note, I never messaged Sam while I was gone, just gave her my itinerary. I asked them to be gone today. They were in your space? I had your flight time on the fridge. They knew not to be there. I felt bad for hyping Sam about it, but she called Hugh and flipped out on him, and I could hear the scuffling around. Around 5:30, they left. I, like a wary little animal, creep out of my bedroom. Big pot of chili on the table with a note explaining to me the duties of a host. Yep, seriously.
Thanks for letting us stay in your home. We understand it's a hard time for you. When guests stay, sometimes there is new expectations we think you should take into consideration.
A long list of caretaking, like serving tea and whatnot. Seriously. It continued on like this. Everyone just very uncomfortable. Hugh being an overgrown baby. Sam freaking out because Entitled Mom has no decency and liked to grab her stuff and placed it around the house. It was weird. She just liked to strut around and judge us. She bought us so much crap in this time that she could have bought a hotel. She got me a set of tobacco-scented candles with another note about how people should act. I'm also a smoker, which she dislikes, so this felt like a gift in bad taste. Also, no, I didn't eat any chili. I'm super picky and super sensitive, and generally avoid communal foods as I prefer not having stomach issues. Yeah, I got the minimal of it, but it was so annoying and awkward. Sam had an awful time. Entitled Mom ripped apart her room and her bed frame and displayed anything unfavorable around the house for everyone to see. It was all so passive, so there wasn't any crazy or anything, just seething you could see in her eyes. Hugh had no problems with this. He acted like this was normal. Hugh's dad just shadowed Entitled Mom around and seemed to have an affinity for my coffee mug I got as a graduation gift. Entitled Mom and I did get into an argument because I was already planning to move out the day I moved in because A, temporary living, B, I have pets back home I want to bring with me, but the place isn't pet friendly, and C, I don't want to live with roommate forever. She got all uppity that it was a big favor from our landlord to let us live here, and how could I take that away from her son? I paid way too much money for a junior bedroom to hear the word favor tossed around. Also, Hugh knew from day one that this was temporary for me. I'm still flabbergasted to this day on how Hugh and his mom thought it was okay to stay in our shared living space that was acknowledged when we moved in. It was going to be a small living space for the 4 tenants. 1/4 of rent does not equal you being able to invite your parents for 10 days stay with no agreement and to infringe on your roommates' lifestyles. Next we've got the worst Karen of all. So I did a college internship with a very popular magical theme park in Orlando this past year. Working at such a large theme park, there are hundreds and hundreds of different costumes, uniforms, that span across the parks, some of which I honestly could see how they could be mixed up with some large stores in their uniforms, aka red shirts and khakis. This did not apply to my costume, however. It was very unique, and I really don't get how this happened to this day. I worked at a huge merch location in my park. One could say it was gear-tastic. Our whole store was gear-themed, and we have working gears all around the store. This being said, our costume consisted of a shirt that is red, blue, and yellow. It had giant gears embroidered on the front, and it is literally impossible to miss. Not to mention the embroidered mouse on the back. To complement this amazing shirt, our pants are high-waisted gray slacks. But when I say high-waisted, I mean those suckers went high. They made anyone who wore them look like a grandma. Now, with this company comes lots and lots of training. We are told it's perfectly fine going out in public in our costumes. We are human too. We are just told to make sure none of our company IDs are shown, and we remove our iconic name tag. That being said, I found myself grocery shopping after work from time to time. After a particularly long shift, I want to say 13 hours, I made my way to the closest Big Blue store. We all know how many Karens lurk the aisles of that store. Now, amp that up by 9,000 because they are all on vacation. This particular store is very close to the theme park, so it's safe to say that these people have probably been visiting our parks. It was about 11 p.m., and needless to say, the store was packed as the parks just closed. I made my rounds around the store, gather what I need, and end up at the self-checkout. This particular store is always packed, but the self-checkout was definitely the fastest. So I thought, this is where the story really gets interesting. I have a full cart, and I'm just waiting in line for a checkout to open. I'm playing on my phone at this point, not knowing the show that is about to happen. Our lovely Karen of the evening is having issues with her self-checkout, and usually there's an employee in a blue vest that's there to help, right? Wrong. There was no store employee in sight. So naturally, when her eyes landed on me, she automatically thought I was somehow employed by this store. She yells something like, "Hey, come help me," towards my general direction. But as I am not an employee, I didn't think she was speaking to me. I continue to play on my phone and she yells again,
Excuse me? Stop sitting on your phone and do your job.
At this point, I realized she was talking to me. I gave a polite, "I'm sorry ma'am, I don't work here." And boy, did this set her off. This is where any normal person would think, oh, duh, they aren't even wearing the uniform. But not this Karen. She was in too deep. She started blowing hot air out of her ears just like the cartoons. I swear. She makes her way over to me and gets super close to my face.
You are going to stop being lazy, and you are going to help me right now. Teenagers like you need to learn to do their dang job. It's a wonder your generation is even still alive at this point. Now help me with this machine, or I will speak to your manager.
Let it be known, I'm 20, and honestly look nothing like a teen. I let out another, "Ma'am, I promise you I don't work here. I'm sure someone will be around soon to help you." Throughout this whole encounter, I had to keep up the whole niceness persona, as I am repping my own company and they have a high standard for customer service. She starts going ballistic and screaming about getting a manager and how she's going to corporate about how I won't help her. I really had it at this point. Luckily for me, the woman and her family in front of me stepped in and said, "Lady, she literally works at insert theme park here. She doesn't work here. Leave her alone." Karen is full on red in the face now. She spits at me as she starts yelling for a manager.
Excuse me? I need a manager.
Finally, a blue-vested employee comes over. He starts calming our wonderful Karen down and trying to understand what is happening. At this point, I just push my cart past the crazy Karen and I start checking out. I just wanted to get home and make a corn dog. I hadn't eaten all day and I already had to deal with crazy guests at my own job, so I was not about to be berated outside of my job too. Well, Miss Karen followed me to my checkout and continued to yell at our blue vest boy.
This girl you have working here gave me attitude, and I will not stand for this. I am on vacation. I am not about to let your employee treat me like this. I want her fired immediately.
At this point, she is blocking me from my items in my cart, and I just want to check out. The blue vest calls for backup, and a manager comes and calms her down. Luckily, our manager friend takes Karen away from me so I can finish checking out. At this point, I just want to cry and eat my corn dog. After Karen left, I bagged up my items as fast as possible and booked it out of there. I never learned of what happened to Karen, but I hope she is satisfied. Anyways, that's the story of the craziest Karen I have ever encountered, and it wasn't even at my job, which is a Karen trap. Next we've got, "Return my kittens," says the lady who left them to fend for themselves. I wasn't a proper part of this story, although I witnessed it unfold on a post on Facebook saying 2 lone kittens found, clearly tame and people-seeking, can't be older than 2 months. Is anyone missing these 2 babies? A little background. In my country, we have an overflow of cats and kittens without homes, roaming about. Both our state and voluntary organizations work together to fix this with sterilizations, chipping, and giving homes and foster homes to the kittens they can. Not easy. Also, the 2 more or less common rules about kittens. 1. They are not to be taken from their mother before at least 12 weeks, 3 months approximately, of age, and 2, they should not be outside without supervision until between 6 to 12 months of age, depending on who you are talking to. I would aim for 12 months for safety, but some are impatient as heck. Due to the lack of geographic sense, they get lost, in other words. Not to mention that I live in a fairly cold country with hard weather at times, and a little kitten could easily get sick. So to the story. One of the more local organizations, 2 nice ladies being behind it all voluntarily, just doing their best with what help they can get. Let's call them nice ladies. Gets a notice from a concerned lady about 2 kittens at her farm that is clearly not hers, but really tame and people-seeking. They're way too young to be out on their own. Concerned lady sends some pictures to nice ladies so they can help locate the possible owner. Nice ladies warned early that the kittens, about 2 months, should not be out alone, and concerned lady didn't have the chance to keep them, urging anyone to take contact via their Facebook or any other way. Several people voiced their concerns and offered to be foster homes if need be. Then the apparent owner, entitled lady, wrote,
They're mine. I'm on vacation, but no, they are doing just fine, so leave them be.
And so the heck starts. Nice lady answers, they are out on their own, no mother or a parent caretaker in sight, so no, they are not fine and need to be picked up. Concerned lady also answers, they are here with me, so yes, they are okay for now, but I have a severe cat allergy and can't take care of them. Entitled lady,
They are fine. I have someone looking after them.
nice lady, then where and who are they? The kittens should not have been left out alone at this age. Entitled lady was quiet for a while, and the comments came in running. Mostly people telling her how unsafe it is, and that if she's not at home, someone should come get them. Some got mean. Some asked logical, has there been a misunderstanding? Questions? Too many to retell all over. Then suddenly, entitled lady came back, accusing concerned lady of stealing.
You took them, didn't you? Give them back this instant. They aren't yours.
Concerned lady, what? I haven't taken them. They just showed up without supervision from anyone else.
Give them back. I have a sitter for the kittens.
Nice lady jumps in, trying calmly, as far as such can be shown in the comment section of course, to make entitled lady understand that no one has stolen her cats and all they wanted to do was get them home. Nice lady, could you please tell us who is responsible for them?
Who? I am. I will be back in a few days. I expect the kittens to be safely back home where they belong, or I will contact the police.
Nice lady, if you are the one responsible, then you shouldn't have left them out on their own. They are too young and it's not safe.
They are doing just fine. Now put them back.
Concerned lady, entitled lady, 1. I have not stolen your cats. 2. They are not fine on their own. 3. We should be contacting the police on you for leaving them. Nice lady, could you please just answer our questions, or we will have to take them in ourselves as they cannot be left out alone.
You will do no such thing. I will have you arrested.
Nice lady, I sent you a few private messages. Could you please answer me? This entitled lady isn't even bothering to do anything other than accuse the people that only want to help. It could have been as easy as, they got out by mistake. But no. The concerned lady had to have stolen them, right? Entitled lady keeps on going.
They're doing just fine. I will be home in a few days, so leave them.
And by then, everyone was done. They've had it. Concerned lady, I will from here on give them to nice lady to care for, and I have reported you. We have a pretty nifty website to report these matters quickly to animal control. For leaving defenseless baby animals. Entitled lady repeats.
Concerned lady, give them back.
Now a random lady who commented about helping fostering the kittens earlier shot in. Random lady.
How and who should we give them back to? You are on vacation and won't be back for several days. You won't give us any contact info for anyone else. And leaving the kittens outside in the cold alone at such a young age is not only illegal, as we have a duty to help anyone, both humans and animals alike, in need, but it is also cruel and unnecessary.
Rude lady kept on going.
I have also reported you to the police, entitled lady, and I will gladly help foster them. Nice lady and concerned lady can come get them at any time needed. Just holler. And I hope any others reading this will also report her, as she does not know how to care properly for them, and is clearly not willing to learn either.
There came lots of thumbs ups and hearts on random lady's messages. One lady started to defend entitled lady, but all responses to her again were basically, how can anyone defend leaving helpless kittens all alone and accuse someone for stealing them in the process? Entitled lady didn't answer anymore, and the kittens were put up for adoption when they were about 12 to 14 weeks old by the local organization. Don't know what happened to entitled lady, But cats have a low level of importance here, as there are so many of them. She not only left the kittens, but she accused Concerned Lady of stealing them, when all she wanted to do was help. An entitled lady cared 0% about the fact that they should have been inside, safe. How dense can you get? I do hope she at least got a fine of some kind. I doubt it though, unfortunately. And shoutouts to our re-generals of the day. Red Bear, I made a playlist for you. And to Ballistic, become